Hi, and welcome to Use It or Lose It, where I help you get every penny out of your food dollar and try to keep food out of the landfill. So I'm doing something different today. Instead of cooking, we're going to talk about some strategies for how not to wind up with food going bad. So today's episode is called Your Freezer is Your Friend. Especially for singles and couples, this is a critical component to your strategies for keeping food from going bad. So I thought I would take you on a tour of my freezer. So let's see what we have. And please ignore all the crazy stuff on the fridge. I'm sure you all have fridges that look like this too. Okay. So first thing is you'll notice I have baskets. Baskets really help to corral your stuff, and it kind of gives you more room than just sort of random stuff piled everywhere. And I have them categorized, and I really wish the door would stay open. Okay, so the first basket I want to point out is this big one in the middle, which is for meats. So when I find a family pack of meat on sale, I buy it. And what do? I'm one person, a family pack of, for example, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. There's usually 7 or 8 in the package. Well, unless I plan on cooking them all at once or over a couple of days, they run the risk of going bad because I don't get to it and I'm tired of it, blah, 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 blah. So I take the time when I bring it home to actually go through, and for me, a whole one of those is too much, even though the average shrinkage is about 30%. So if you figure one breast is 8 ounces, you wind up with, 6.5, something like that. That's still a lot for me. So I cut them in half. The next thing I do is I take half of those halves and I go ahead and pound them thin while I'm at it. So that way I have the choice of either regular chicken breast or one that's already pounded thin that I can cook quickly. It's a quick saute, goes fast, it's wonderful. And here's is my favorite trick. Save the bags from when you have cereal or crackers and you get a wax bag, not unlike this one. Save that because this is the best for pounding your meat thin. You can cut it as needed. You can put 3 in there at once or whatever. But then when you have that in there, you pound it out. It goes fast. It holds up better than plastic wrap, and it's great because we've reused something that would wind up going directly to the landfill. At least we got another use out of it before it goes to the landfill. And I keep my stash in the cabinet, so I always have some handy. So that is 3 things you can do when you have a giant package of chicken breasts that you need to, oh, I forgot the part where now that they're flattened and cut up and all that, I wrap each one in tin foil or aluminum foil and then put them in a Ziploc bag. And I have 2 separate bags, one for flat, one for regular. Because now all I have to do is open my fridge, pull out my meat basket, and with my little filing system here, go through and I find, here are the flat breasts. I also have skinless, or I got a deal on chicken thighs that had skin on and bone in. I went ahead and deboned them and took the skin off myself for half the package. Again, it was a family pack, so there was a lot of them in there. And then separated between skinless, boneless, and skin on, bone in. Because there's some things that, with especially thigh meat, you really want to have that bone in to keep it extra, even juicier than it normally is, and to get that crispy skin, so it's a real treat. But then you have the skinless, boneless for other purposes that cook faster, or they make the best meat for stir fries, which is another quick meal. All of these things not only do they keep your food from going bad, but it allows you to come up with a quick meal because you can pull out 1 or 2 pieces. It thaws relatively quickly when there's only 1 or 2 pieces, or you can put it in the microwave or in the toaster oven. I find that works better. And get it thawed while you're preparing all the other ingredients, and bada bing, bada boom. You've got dinner on the table. Red meat is a rare treat for me, so my other contents of my meat bag are usually pork chops. Typically, when I can get them on sale, boneless center loin chops. Here's another tip. If you see a pork center cut loin, the whole one, on sale, buy it, because then you can slice that into chops yourself and you've saved a lot of money that way. Why pay them to do the work when you've got knives and a cutting board? So that's the meat basket. Then we have the frozen vegetable basket. So being one person, if I buy all fresh vegetables, then they run the risk of going bad before I can get to them. So things like broccoli, green beans, peas, corn, I like to have those available in frozen. And frankly, sometimes frozen is actually better than fresh because it has been flash frozen at the peak of ripeness rather than being picked underripe and shipping, and you don't get quite the same taste. So not only is it convenient, but you can also get a better product. So I keep those going in here, and I can pour out as little or as much as I want, and that saves me from stuff going bad. That's not to say that I don't buy like corn on the cob, or I don't buy fresh green beans when they're in season, but this is also a real lifesaver because I can pull out one of those pieces of meat while it's defrosting. I can get the plate ready with my 2 vegetables, whatever 2 I choose, perhaps 1 frozen, 1 fresh, then do whatever I'm going to do to the meat, and voila, meat and 2 veg in no time. This basket is for meals ready to eat. So I also happen to have, if you've seen my dead banana episode, here's some mashed banana just waiting to be turned into soft serve ice cream. But I have some things in here like a little bit left over from soup, chili, and I have one of those seal-a-meal type devices. And so they've been sealed in these handy packages because not only does it make a nice little package, but I can thaw it or microwave it in this bag and then just dump it in the bowl and enjoy. So I save these for when I really don't have time and I need something quick to eat before I run off to do something else. Here's another favorite basket. So this is where I keep frozen nuts. If you freeze your nuts, then it helps keep them from going rancid. So I don't use pecans very often. I had to buy some for a recipe. So hey, they're in there. And of course, I had to mortgage my condo in order to get a big bag of pine nuts. So hell yeah, those are going in the freezer. And then one of my favorite things, this is where I keep my golden cubes of goodness. So for example, the gelée from a roasted chicken, those are great for throwing into the pan like with some red wine. It really gives it some rich flavor. Some little pesto cubes or little bits of fresh herbs that are about to go, so I froze them in the ice cube tray. So stuff like that. So it's kind of like the condiment basket. Quite convenient. And of course there's other miscellaneous. Of course, a chicken that will be spatchcocked at some point. It was 50% off, so I couldn't say no. And here's something, you saw me talk about this. This is my stock bag. So you've heard me talk about throwing vegetable scraps and chicken bones and so forth into a bag to be made into a stock. And see, this bag is full, so I will be making stock to get this out of the way to make room for the next one because, you know, I only got so much room in that tiny little freezer. And it's almost the end of soup season, so now would be the time to make that stock. So here's another cute tip. If you like bacon, but you don't want to have bacon every day for weeks on end when you're 1 or 2 people, you roll them up and freeze them in an ice cube tray. So they come out like these lovely little rosettes. I do 2 per cube. And so they wind up looking like this. See, it's like a little roll of bacon. So I can take out just 2 slices of bacon and put it in the microwave, thaw it a little bit, then finish cooking it in the microwave. I like mine microwave because it comes out super crisp. And voila. Or you can, once they're thawed, you can put them in the pan if you like doing it in the pan, whatever. But that's another example of something that you keep from going bad, because how many times have you experienced the slimy bacon syndrome? Yeah, you know, it's hiding in there, and all of a sudden, ew, too slimy to eat. So we want to stay away from that. And also, it does get moldy. So, and of course, there's other miscellaneous items in there. For example, I know there's a bag of raw butternut squash that's just waiting to be roasted or cooked into something else. Decaf coffee, you know, other chicken stock pucks. You heard me in the chicken stock episode. Talk about freezing your chicken stock using a muffin pan, because then you get these lovely half-cup portions. Well, here's a bag full of those half-cup chicken stock portions. So you can see they kind of look like hockey pucks. I put a flat-top baggie in the muffin cup before pouring in the chicken stock, so I have this nice little package that's, you know, sealed and just waiting for something to do with it. So there you have it. These are all handy tricks and tips to help you make the most out of your freezer, keep your food from going bad. So it helps you with advanced planning or meal prep. It allows you to be ready to go at a moment's notice. Typically, if I pull something out of meat out of the freezer, I can have a lovely meal ready in 20 to 30 minutes. And that's pretty fast, but of course, you know, it's 1 portion, so it cooks faster. But even so, that's what you can look forward to. So that's it for today's episode of Use It or Lose It. I'll see you next time. Bye.